In a case we've seen far too often, a teacher is behind bars charged with having sex with their 15-year-old student. 29-year-old Kayden Burbank remains locked up in a Texas jail charged with improper relationship with a student after reportedly having multiple sexual interactions with a 15-year-old girl. The investigation unfolded after Burbank's girlfriend discovered text messages on his phone between him and the student. According to reports, Burbank initiated an intimate relationship with the student in February of this year, and the next month the two had sex several times on and off campus. The disturbing allegations didn't end there. Burbank allegedly kissed the student at school, would pick her up across the street from campus where the two had sex in his car. Court records reveal one instance where Burbank got a hotel room where he and the student engaged in sex. After Burbank's girlfriend found the text messages between him and the 15-year-old, he gave permission to police to search his phone where they found messages that read, quote, "I smell like you, haha. I smell really sweet right now, ha. I like you, smiley face." Burbank reportedly tried to cover up his tracks. He told police that all he did was take the 15-year-old to Popeyes, and the two ate lunch together, but nothing physical happened between them. But the 15-year-old reportedly came clean to police. The student told police on February 7th Burbank allegedly told the 15-year-old he liked her. On February 20th, Burbank gave the teenager his phone number. The student said she and Burbank kissed in a classroom and had sex. In one instance, Burbank allegedly had given her a pass to leave her second period class and meet him in a classroom. Later that same day, Burbank picked her up across the street after school and the two had sex. Police were able to verify the details as investigators discovered which hotel Burbank allegedly booked, and authorities got a copy of the hotel reservation.
This is just such a crazy case. Like you said, it's pretty intense.
I spoke with Texas-based criminal defense attorney Bridget Williams. She explained in the state of Texas, a person has to be 17 years or older to legally give consent for any type of sexual activity or intercourse in any way.
So if the person is younger than that, they do not have the ability to give permission or consent to have sexual activity. When an individual violates that, then now that person can be charged with statutory rape. This case takes it even a step further where that individual who goes past that threshold is now a educator, and the student or the minor is now a student. So now that person can not only be charged with statutory rape, but also an inappropriate relationship between an educator and a student. And that's a second degree felony, which is what the person here is being charged with.
Burbank was placed on administrative leave when the school where he worked became aware of the allegations. But a week later, on April 9th, he was arrested. And that same day, he also resigned from his job at Cy-Fair High School. The school district released a statement after Burbank's arrest, which reads, quote, "Mr. Kayden Burbank, a former teacher at Cy-Fair High School, resigned on April 9, 2024. Mr. Burbank was placed on administrative leave on April 2, 2024, pending a complete investigation by campus administration and law enforcement, after campus administration was made aware of the allegations of an improper relationship between an educator and student." We need to take a quick break out of this story to bring you a Law and Crime legal alert. If you don't know, Google Incognito tracked users' browsing data without their knowledge. Mass Tort Alliance, one of our legal sponsors, is stepping up, though, to help file for compensation due to Google misleading the privacy of their Incognito browser. Now, if you use Google Incognito anytime since 2016, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to incognitoclaims.com/LCnews, take the questionnaire, and in less than 10 questions, you can start your claim. Again, that's incognitoclaims.com/LCnews. Williams explained she was surprised Burbank wasn't charged with statutory rape in addition to the charge of having an improper relationship with a student, but says either charge could result in jail time.
So if an individual who's over the age of 17 or an adult has a sexual relationship with someone who's under the age of 17, the person who cannot give consent, then they are now able to be charged with statutory rape. Right. So that's one offense. The person, if that individual now can also be charged with the second offense of inappropriate relationship as an educator and a student, if that individual who's over the age, the adult, engages with the minor, now they can also be charged. So they can actually have two charges. I'm surprised that this individual doesn't have two charges. He only has just this one. Both are felony offenses and both have a punishment range of 2 to 20 years in prison.
She says she's seen these cases happen far too often, adding defenses are minimal when it comes to statutory rape or improper relationship with the student.
I have seen quite a few of these types of cases, and I know several colleagues across the state who have represented individuals who have been charged with these types of offenses. So, like I said, it's not uncommon. It happens very frequently, which is problematic. But there are a couple defenses sometimes when we talk about it, when it is an educator and a student who is enrolled in the school. Sometimes it may be where the individual, they had a relationship prior to it. And I think that if it is 3-year age bracket inside, sometimes that could be a defense, but the defenses are still minimum. And so whenever a person is being charged with statutory rape, when that it goes further, when they're an educator and then the student is enrolled in the school, so the person can be charged with both offenses.
As for the student in this case, the victim, Williams explains the teen does have legal avenues to explore in terms of seeking justice if she chooses.
Well, we're already going down the first avenue, which is the criminal justice system, and this individual being charged for the offense of inappropriate relationship. And so, generally, the DA's office will also reach out to the victim and offer victims impact services. So they have that as an option. But then she also has the option of going the civil route. The civil route. So she can the student and her family has the option of suing not only the teacher, but also the school district, bypassing the school district's immunity, because most places that are government entities in the state of Texas have immunity. But when there is an intentional action that is done, then you're able to bypass that immunity. Additionally, the burden of proof in a civil case is much lower than that of a criminal matter. So for her to be able to get justice and seek justice in a civil case, it'll be much easier for her to get some type of recourse in a civil matter than it would even be in this criminal case.
But could the high school face liability since Burbank and the student allegedly had sex on campus? Williams says it's possible.
In my opinion, I believe that they do. Like I said, several of government agencies in the state of Texas have immunity from negligent cases, so from being sued for negligence. However, that can be bypassed when there is an intentional action that is done. And a rape case or inappropriate activity between the educator and a minor, that is not an accident. You didn't accidentally do that. You didn't negligently do that. That is intentionally done. I think older people say you didn't slip and fall, right? You intentionally did that. And so with that being said, I believe that the school does have some responsibility here and liability to the student and her family.
At this time, Burbank remains behind bars held on a more than $50,000 bond, which Williams explains is fitting given the charge against him.
The teacher is being held on a $60,000 bond, and in the jail right now, the county jail. He's unable to make that. And so, whenever a person is being held a bond, it's because that individual is either, we talked about before, a flight risk or a danger to himself and others. And he's considered to be a danger to himself, one, and to others at the school. I think he's already resigned from the school the day that he was charged with this offense. And so, I believe that the bond set for him is appropriate in this particular case.
According to online records, Burbank is still being held behind bars in the Harris County Jail on that $60,000 bond. His next court date is slated for June 26th. Reporting for Law and Crime, I'm Elizabeth Millner.